Welcome to Beyond the Horizon. Today is World Day Against the Death Penalty, the 10th of October. And I'm very pleased to welcome two dedicated volunteers who've given their life to fighting and defending human rights. Welcome to Brian and Patricia Stitt.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here also.
Before we start, I'm going to return to a clip from our previous guests, two Sudanese activists. We can't show their faces for obvious reasons.
Every human life is precious. If someone commits a crime, such as murder, their punishment should be an imprisonment where they contemplate the actions of their crime, and then a long rehabilitation before they're allowed to join the community. Killing someone doesn't work. It's not a deterrent. It's not an appropriate punishment. And scientifically, statistically, it's never been proven as a correct course of action. Let's not even think about the morality of it. Now, the death penalty is a draconic law that should be done away with. Instead, we should be looking at laws that help us improve as a community, as a society, moving forward in the 21st century.
I'm from Sudan. Our country lived for 30 years under the continuous oppression of a military dictatorship of the Muslim Brotherhood led by the heartless General Omar al-Bashir. He is the first president, while he was still in office, ever to be wanted by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide and more. My family and myself, we are victims of this cruel dictator. A few years back, when the Janjaweed militia burnt our village in East Sudan, in one night, I lost my grandmother, my father, and my beloved three sisters. They were burnt to death in our house by this Janjaweed militia, the right hand of the Muslim Brotherhood who committed this genocide in our region. On 11th April this year, our people, after a long walk for freedom, threw this corrupted regime of the dictator of the Muslim Brotherhood into the dustbin of history. Then General Omar al-Bashir is now in prison awaiting trial. Why do we give this killer a chance at justice? They must hang him or shoot him in public without any hesitation. An eye for an eye, that's what he deserves.
Welcome again to our guests, Patricia and Brian. Let's start with you, Patricia.
Let me return to the speech from the young Sudanese activist man in that clip. I can fully understand his anger. I was horrified and saddened for him, his family, his community, his country. And yes, as I said, I can understand why he's angry at the previous Sudanese dictator, Omar al-Bashir, for his cruelty and wickedness, and why he would want the use of the death penalty. However, when I thought about the eye for the eye and the tooth for the tooth, I realised that half the world would be blind and toothless. We're human, and in addressing the use of the death penalty in our humanness, we often make serious and cruel errors. In my fairly long life, I've known numbers of cases where people have been killed, and in a later situation, information has emerged that they were innocent. What can that do to people, to families, to communities? The death penalty is inhuman, degrading, cruel, and of course irreversible. And most of the global statistics indicate that there is very little likelihood of reduction of crimes in society through use of death penalty. Also, there's been some medical opinion that with certain methods used in the death penalty, they can be long in time and extremely painful and cruel.
Now, Brian, what are your thoughts on the death penalty?
Let me return also to the young Sudanese activist. In the case of General Omar Bashir, there is no doubt that he has committed crimes against humanity, and the death penalty would give him an easy exit for the cruelty which he has done for his people. Moreover, that might be quite satisfying for him and give very little reward to those who've suffered under his violence. Also, it would not offer a significant example to those who might consider to do the same as he did. In my opinion, jail for life is the appropriate punishment for people who commit corruption such as he has done. For people who sell their country, who sell their people, who share the proceeds, the money only among their entourage, are worthy of punishment. Let this criminal be banished and deprived, kept isolated from the community, instead of killing him, which will only add more brutality to the world. Look at the world around about us. It is changing slowly, but moving forward as more and more countries are ceasing to adopt a code of capital punishment.
Thank you. Let's have a look at that clip.
I lost the love of my life. We had been together for 25 years. When I met him, I was 20 years old. I knew I was going to spend my whole life with him. He was kind, generous, never harmed anybody or even thought about it. He was only in the wrong place at the wrong time. Killing him by the death penalty for crime he didn't commit has left his daughter fatherless. I came to Australia to start anew, begging my life in a country not practicing this barbaric punishment.
My dad was the greatest dad in the entire world. He played with me, he plaited my hair, and put them in colourful scrunchies. And he always put a pretty flower over my left ear, telling me I was the most beautiful rose in the world. He was very funny. At bedtime, he always read to me lovely stories when I was younger, and he checked my homework. I'm very good at maths because he taught me his own enjoyable way to learn my times tables. I love singing and dancing because we did that a lot together. Every weekend, he would take me to a cinema, or to the theatre, or the zoo, or to visit our relatives so I could play with my cousins. After they killed him, the girls in my school started calling me the daughter of the killer, and no one wanted to be my friend, even our neighbours. I became isolated and alone. I remember well when my father started teaching me how to use the computer keyboard. He asked me to think twice before I closed an unsaved file, and to be very careful when I press the delete button. But the judge, who sentenced him without any kindness, was like somebody throwing an unsaved file into the rubbish bin without any chance of its return. Who has that power to delete somebody's life from the surface of the earth and be able to peacefully live with his wife and his children with a clear conscience? From the moment I arrived in Australia, I've loved this country, but I miss my dad so much. I wish he was able to be with us and not be in heaven, as my mum always says.